Here she comes, the best videographer of Western caricature carving in the four-state area. We were supposed to get about a quarter, 10 inches, they said. I think we got maybe a quarter of an inch, possibly half. But anyway, glad it wasn't a ton. Getting too old to shovel snow. Anyway, she'll be down here to suit up in no time. Okay, we're back on this again. Nice and snowy outside. Good day to do some wood carving. So, what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to try to outline these areas here. But first I want to mention that looking at this compared to this one here, I noticed that the shirt was quite a bit shorter than the one I had on the pattern. You can see that it's a little bit longer on that pattern. So what I did was I took off a chunk here on the bottom, just in case you wanted to. I wanted you to see what I did. And then I redid it back here to match. And I used a little bit of the alcohol mixture to get this out of here. Okay? So, anyway, back to this area here. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow our lines for our beaded strip. And like I say, you want these strips to be square. I mean the corners, and you don't want them wide at one end and thinner at the other. You want them to look even all the way across. There we go. And they don't have to be that much raised, but you want to make you want them to come up even all the way. Your little ridge back here. Yep. All right, that looks pretty good. This one's going to be a little more difficult, maybe. As you probably know, what you want to do, make shoot for is you want to know where the point of your knife is at all times. Now we'll go for this one here. Judy's so close with that camera, if I mess up, I'm going to be in trouble. The whole world's going to see. Let's see here. Well, I know what I need to do with this thing. I need to go polish the edge a little. Let me go strop this tool. Much better. There's a little ridge there, but my tool, and that one is just as wide. What's that? That one's just as wide. And I don't like that either. How am I going to do that? See, a lot of times you go look for a special chisel to do the job when just a simple old pocket knife will do it. Okay? What I'm doing here is I'm making sure my beaded strip is flat and not have any high ridges on it. There we go. Now I'm going to raise the inside of this. After I take out that right there. Also, when you're doing areas like this, don't try to push your knife blade straight through it. Slice it like that and you'll cut through the fibers a lot easier than trying to push it through. Looks like this knife needs to be stropped too. So let me go do that. Okay, got that done. See the difference between a nice stropped blade here and one that needs to be stropped. Now my knife was sharp before, so it didn't really need to be taken to a stone or work that hard on a strop. All I did was take it over to my little two-wheel buffer over there. One side's got leather glued to it and the other side is just a hard cloth wheel. And I just used a little bit of red rouge to on the cloth wheel to really buff this thing up to where it was, you know, really, really sharp. So we got a lot of cleanup to do right here. Now when we burn this, you know, with our burning tool, that will get rid of a lot of this stuff, that little stuff like down in here. And these real fine marks like that there, if you don't catch them completely, when you paint it and wet it down, if you paint it and wet it down like I do, that water is going to dry up and close up those spots. At least that's what you hope. Clean this up a little. So there, we got that done. All right. Now we got our shoulder area. So here what we're going to do now, I've drawn a pencil line. It's pretty well worn off now. So what I'm going to do here is just make a cut. And follow the ridge of that shoulder, like that, okay? Now, up here at the top, we're making the fringe now. See how I did it here? I cut down along the edge. Now I'm going to come up to it. Oh, hang on there. See there? That's why you've got a glove on. That hit my finger right in here. But fortunately, because I had my glove on, it may have raised a little fuzz, but it didn't raise my skin. And what I should have been doing is this right here. Where are those gloves? Those people at the emergency ward have much better things to be doing than sewing up your fingers. Looking pretty good. Just shave this down a little. Okay, so you want your first stripe you draw to come down straight to sort of match the line here. Then just gently, keep them even up here, and very, very gently kind of widen them as you go down at the bottom. So when you get to the bottom, they just match this line down here, okay? Now, what I do is I come back up here with my knife, sit there, it's kind of wobbling around, and come down, follow that line down all the way. There. And I'll come up here. Doing that, taking that chip out so you get a clean cut. So knowing that, you can come down with your lines. Come on up there. This one's kind of thick, so I'm going to narrow it down, let it come down. Now I can go back and dress these up a little. To get rid of that sharp edge on the one side. Where did I stop it? Right there. Okay. There's one I forgot right there. Now with a real curved little gouge, I'm going to take this and go up each one to give it just that much more definition. And now that you see what I'm doing, I'm going to let Judy take a break and not hold that camera out here anymore. Okay, you can see that extra little tool, this one here, has really added some definition to those stripes. Now what we're going to do is separate them just a little bit. Not much, just a little. There, see? It's not much, but it makes a big difference. It sort of, separates each little fringe, okay? So, now, what we're going to do is we're going to add some lines into the front of our piece to give it some form. Just kind of bleed it out. Don't don't make something so deep that it looks phony. You want something to look divided, or, you know, not divided. Looks like the skin is flowed. What am I trying to say? The skin has a little wrinkle in it, is all. Okay, see, that's plenty. And up here on the top, you can sort of make a real small one to indicate that it's eventually going to run into that one down below. And you want these wrinkles to follow the shape of the robe. In other words, everything's going down straight. That's how they would hang. And then we'll kind of cut in here to show that there is a definition there between those two wrinkles. Like that. Let me do the next one. And another thing that's just as important is don't get carried away with these. You get too many on there, it's going to look odd. That one there, you can take it almost all the way to the top if you want. Or we'll put one more back here. I don't know if that'd be too. We'll see what this looks like. Myself. I'm going to tie this one into that one below. That looks good. Now on your fur, the fur has folds in it too. Not very big ones, but it does have some. So you want to kind of indicate that. To where the edge of the robe seems to flow under itself. And by flowing under, you want this little edge right down here. You want that crease to come down and go, looks like it's going to go under. So what we're going to do is just take it under there. You carve my little line there. There, see how it kind of disappears underneath there? And again, let your lines just flow out to nothing. Something like that there. I'll put one more here. And bring it like that. Up here, we're basically doing the same thing. See what I'm doing there? I'm extending those lines. Bring them clear over here to the edge. See the difference of what it makes? I'm not concerned so much about leaving marks like these on here, because when we use the stoning tool here in one of the future videos, you'll see that all those marks will be wiped out by that tool. Looks pretty good. But you definitely don't want this to look like a big old blob sitting there on the top of his robe. And when I'm doing these things, this kind of looks like a buffalo robe. That's that's what I try to do here with this other Indian. Here you can see what I did, basically. Okay? I have a buffalo robe up at the house, and those things weigh a ton. Because, well, the reason why they're so heavy is because I'm sure if a person, a Native American, is going to use a buffalo robe mainly for keeping warm in the winter, they want to take a buffalo hide that has been the animal has been killed during the high point of the winter, where he has his full coat, all the fur on it that he can get to get the most warmth out of it. So the more fur that's on the coat, the heavier it's going to be. And you wrap one of those things around you, believe me, you're going to instantly start sweating and want to sit down, because it's heavy, very heavy. This could probably be an elk hide or something like that. I don't know, but we're just going to pretend that it's a buffalo hide, okay? So, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill my hole, and I'm going to put the head on it, because we're going to, in the next video, we're going to not carve so much, but start our presentation. So I got my thing here. I'm going to drill a hole right down through the center of it. sort of a pile hoe. Take my gloves off. I'm just going to use a larger drill. And the biggest drill. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Yeah, we're aiming in the right direction. Now with my knife, I'm just going to start widening that hole out. And as you're doing this, pay attention to your grain, because the wood will come out or come off a lot easier one way than it will going around one way than it will going around the other. It's a process here that takes a while. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to let Judy stop the camera, and we'll come back to where it's almost done, and we'll put the head on there. All right, I've got the hole pretty well taken out here. Here, let me even it up a little more, make sure. Got my head here. Now I've wheeled off the bottom of it here to sort of match my drill. And I see automatically that there's going to have to be some modifications made here where that bump of hair hits the top of the robe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of that. And in so doing, I also want to remove some of this to match it. This is, you know, one reason you don't want to carve details on a piece. Well, what I'm saying is you want to make sure you leave enough material on areas you know are going to cause a problem later on that you're going to have to face, like what we're doing here. So that brings the head down a little more, but I can take some off here. I'm just making sure that it's not going to look like that head is just sticking up there. Okay, we have a space here, but the head is still too high. So I've about reached the bottom of my hole. So I'm going to take off some here. take my pencil lead. Where are you? My graphite pencil. Gonna run that around there. Put my head on. Get it in the attitude that I want it. Do I want him looking this way or that way? I think I'll have him looking this way. And I'll put him down in there like that. And that's going to show me what to remove. To allow it to sink down. Into that hole. Well, that wasn't good, was it? When I see a knife fall, I never grab for it. I just let it hit the floor. Because if I grab for it, you know what's going to happen. I keep saying these things like I'm the fountain of knowledge for wood carving. Well, believe me, I'm not, but I learned through experience there. We're getting there. We're back up against the robe. Oh, I wanted to mention one thing. Someone told me here just the other day that a friend, he really liked using these utility knives to carve with. But the thing that bothered him, let me just stop here, was the width of the knife blade here. It didn't allow him to make those turns. So what he was going to do is he was going to grind this down, sort of like that, and then insert it into a handle like that to carve with. Good luck. I would not do that. This material, this steel is extremely brittle and it'll snap because it's thin all the way across. It's not like a regular knife blade where it's thick on top and thin on the bottom. This one's thin all the way, so it's going to break. And I'm sure the metal that they use for these blades is probably the cheapest they can find that will do the job, because they're not meant to last very long before you chuck in another blade and throw the other one away. So, you know, use caution with these blades. I don't keep them. I mean, they'll wear out and I throw them away. Okay, now his head is sitting square down on the robe there, see? So I'm going to take a little bit more off of that robe. Right in the area that the head hits. See, we're getting a real nice shadow down in here. I like that. Might disappear later, but right now I like it. So I'm going to turn his head some more. See if I can get it to match that hole. Really close. I like that, don't you? Okay, So that's going to do it for this video. Now in the next video, we're not going to be carving so much. We're going to be working on the base, because I like to do my bases at about this stage, because then I can see how that carving is going to look when it's finished. I might want to change it. I might move that head around that way. See, it just totally changes the action of the piece. Then that. You can't turn it a lot. You can never turn it around over there. Hey, what's going on over there? We don't want that. I like that right there. I might even bring that down just a little bit more. I don't know. We'll find that out once we work on our base, okay? So until next time, I'll talk to you later.